Oh, all right. Move this over. Like, I can't even mimic. I can't even sass my cat right now. Cat, you need to do more than just sprints on the wheel. Yeah, come here. Hi, everyone. I didn't sleep last night. Well, I I kind of passed out on my couch late night, so that kind of affected my sleep. So, yeah, here I am. Last night was definitely no one trying to sleep. It was not fun. All right, gonna enjoy the creative decisions they made. Uh, man. All right, I'm just giving a few seconds to words fail me right now. Uh, World of Warcraft because they were updating for the last hour, so I want to give that email just in case they ran over a bit. But I'm assuming they finished within the hour. So let me see if I'm able to boot it up. If I am able to boot it up, you will hear, and then I will screen share. Connecting. Retrieving list. All right, enter world. What if I did something? I was so tired yesterday. All right, I will screen share now, and then as well, I will put a VTuber cat. Open up something real quick. Mm. All right, I gotta put in an image for this real quick. I gotta respond to this bullshit. Do I go with literally me, Ryan Gosling, or do I go with random man who's just sad? Do I go with Tyler one? There we go. Oh, it's raining. Nice.
Need more rage.
Oh, you get back, you son of a bitch. Ooh, money. Oh, that was a 200 hit. For those wondering what I'm kind of reacting to, as you can probably tell on the channel, there's been a lot of Homestuck. I am going to be reading the epilogue and Homestuck 2 on the Discord, I think. The Homestuck 2, definitely. I might also read the epilogue. You might have made your sweet there, I apologize. It's a human paladin. Okay. Let's move on over this way. Again, that little, like, 3 notes to the piano really remind me of the song, the one song from Lisa, the Painful. I think it's played in, like, the main menu before you load up. The more I learn about the sequel material to Homestuck, the more I hate it. Except Friend Sim and Hive Talk 1. Those ones have actually been good. But I am dreading Epilogue and Homestuck 2. It just seems so fucking bad. I gotta read this. Ah, they're not close enough. Fuck. Oh. Alva Design 3, thank you for following. Welcome to the Just Chatting stream where I talk about home stuff. Oh god, I hate everything that comes after OG. Yes, I hope you're having a good day. Hold on. Oh yeah, I gotta remember. Hamstring, you are not running away, you fucker. And they did, because they died. Almost did. Yes, cat. You gotta keep running on it. You can't just like only walk for 2 minutes. Okay, whatever. Here you go. When I moved it back in with my parents for summer with my brother, I remember my dad was like, yeah, you know, the cat really likes you and won't leave me alone, and like it's all because like I feed them in the morning. My brother, like, for some reason raised his eyebrows like, what do you mean you feed her? Don't you just leave the food in the bowl? No, I get her food and I feed her some more. And what he'd been doing is filling up her bowl with nothing but treats. So it's nothing but junk food. And it's like, no wonder the cat really came to like you. It's because you fucking did this. You fed them nothing but junk food. Of course they're gonna like you. And he thought that legitimately that food was like her normal food. He is buying those books. Yeah, he is. Got all the affection because of that. What a funny man he is sometimes. The things. Yes, good morning, Maxwell. Man, I'm kind of dreading reading the epilogues now, but also I wouldn't mind reading it on the Discord. But if people don't want to know what happens to that abomination that apparently I'm about to embark on, I 100% understand. Like Demons already said, all I know is Pester Quest, and I'm fine with that. That's what I want. Like, fair, fucking fair. Just looking at those tags like, motherfucker.
Not enough rage.
You know what the worst part is? There probably was some young people who read Homestuck, liked it at the time. Some time had passed since Homestuck proper. And then, like, the epilogues and Homestuck 2 came out. And because they became a little more cynical because, you know, get older, sometimes you start hating the things you liked when you were younger. They was like, oh my gosh, this is like such an improvement because it's so much darker and edgier. I hope they grew out of that phase. I really do. Good morning. Also, yeah, Discord stream might be too much for YouTube. Ain't graphic, but it sure is something. I would assume it wouldn't be too graphic, but it'd still be like really yikes for YouTube. Like I can also sense it doesn't need too vivid descriptions to become pretty yikes. Again, just from what I was reading. Unlike the tags, like you could still make it like very ban worthy without being too explicit. Because the human mind is a fucky thing. You only need to give it enough info for it to make it the worst like image in your mind. And because it's all text, it seems like, yeah, I can see it also really laying into that or whatever. Because implications the hell of a torture device. It's just so... I'm still very interested in reading because you show me that, like, how did we get here? Like, it makes me want to have supplementary material where it's mainly what was the thought process in the writing room to bring this about. Except it's not like buying an edition, because I was on Amazon for a bit yesterday looking through, and I saw that they released Homestuck in book form. And of course, like, it wasn't just like the page, because like you didn't have the animations anymore, so it was screenshots that they had for pages instead. And what they also did well to kind of incentivize you to buy the physical edition was having like Andrew Hussey's like commentary and like what was he thinking at this point, what caused this. So essentially just what's the word? The commentary track, you could say. What I'm not getting, it might need explanation for users, is that the prologue says epilogue. Epilogue is just called Homestuck 2, but now it's Homestuck Beyond Canon. It's a lot of names. My guess would be maybe to general reception, this is now dubious canon, as they already call themselves. Not sure if the prologue is before Homestuck Beyond Canon or part of Homestuck Beyond Canon. Dragon range next. Okay.
It's too far away.
I would hope to put it bluntly, I would hope that any piece of Homestuck media that had these kind of tags would be part of its own canon. Oh, Sayla off. Woman down. She's just kind of standing there. It's like, what do you mean? What's going on? Don't jump on the wheel. You're only gonna hurt yourself. Alright, take a look at it already. It is already. Okay, it already is. Got it. Alright, I need it. Oh no, she went off herself. Okay. What is up, Sayla? God, my mind is a dull jumble this morning. I really ruined my sleep last night. I just passed out on the couch, pretty much. That was no fun. And then trying to going to bed at normal time. It's like,
Need more rage.
yeah, that ain't happening.
Not enough rage.
I have enough rage in me, and do not sass me. Zayla, down. Down. You funny fucker, get down. Alright, give me a second. Alright, I have Seal in my arms like a baby. She's trying to push off. It's been explained as Homestuck ended at the end of the comic. Beyond Canon is non-canon continuation that goes past him, run by part of the Homestuck team with the approval of Hussey. Explained as Homestuck ended at the end of the comic. So, okay. So, I guess my thing was like, I thought Beyond Canon was like maybe like a company or anything that made it. So it's like, oh, it's Beyond Canon because funny name for a company, especially for something that's making a sequel of something that's done. But my thing is, like if Beyond Canon is like Hive Swap, Friend Sim, Pastor Quest, and Homestuck epilogues, and like Homestuck squared or whatever, Homestuck 2. My hope would be that Homestuck epilogue and Homestuck 2 were on a different canon list, if that makes sense, where yes, it is part of the overall like canon beyond Homestuck, but that even in the term of beyond canon, these two are like not accepted as the greater continuity or whatever, where because of reception that they aren't part of like what became the greater continuation of Homestuck, even though if it's not like non-canonical or non-canon. I wonder if that makes sense, because I can see potentially just from what I've been seeing around with looking, it's on the eye of the beholder at this point. Yeah, because that's the thing where it's like, at that point, it's like all the fandom or whatever, you know, doesn't view Homestuck Epilogue and Homestuck 2 as part of the sequel to Homestuck officially. To them, it's just higher budget fan fiction, let's say. That's all they consider it as. And my hope is that any further work produced in Homestuck doesn't rely on your knowledge of the epilogues or Homestuck 2 is what I'm getting at, I guess. Where it kind of gets left behind at that point. Where even if, like, let's say Pester Quest does reference Homestuck 2 or Homestuck epilogues, that later media kind of just forgets about it, you know? Where it's like, oh, it'll reference Pester Quest, and Pester Quest reference potentially epilogues and Homestuck 2. But beyond that point, the only connection you can make is from, like, let's say Pester Quest. That is the only point of origin anything refers to now. It's just how he never got equal to Megamind. Oh, funny man, funny man. But I guess that's my hope. Where with further content that comes out, we just kind of ignore the fact that Homestuck Epilogues and Homestuck 2 comes out. Because just seeing those tags, and just from what I've gathered, just from you and Demon Missouri, and just like the brief snippets I find while looking things up for like what to do next for, like, mainly like for the book of Homestuck Epilogue. Like, I was getting like little snippets of like people's reaction to it, and it's like, and then seeing like some of the topics to decide to cover in this. So that's kind of my hope, where yes, it is part of this umbrella term called Beyond Canon, but further works into this don't reference it. Because Friendsim is very nice because it does feel like I am just continuing the wacky adventures of the trolls and just learning. I don't feel like I'm learning much more about their culture, just more of the lingo. Oh, I need to put on the thing covering chat. I forgot. There we go. Like, when I see cuckolding and Homestuck epilogues, like, it should go, the extent it should go to is Carcat hanging out with the mayor and Dave has to watch. Like, they're building Can City, or making an addition to Can City, but Dave's not allowed to help for some reason. He has to watch. Like, that should be the extent of that, because everyone fucking loves the mayor. I know that's not it, but that should be as far as it goes, because it's not what you'd expect from cuckolding, but to fucking Dave, it might as well be. But I am very interested to see their decisions of characters. Also, I think I got a bit spoiled. Dirk turns into like a villain apparently, or just some kind of a monster. I don't know. So I'm not excited for that change because it's already a really dumb change. But I want to see how they try to justify it. Cause yeah, Homestuck can get serious. It can talk about some nuanced things, but with these tags I'm seeing, it just feels like it tried to grow up with the fan base, but it looked at topics that were considered more adult and just said, "Alright, we're slapping them in there." But again, like I said, I'm gonna read it regardless. Oh, I do have that skill up. Okay.
Need more rage.
I was just fucking reminded of the Xbox picture where it's the meme someone made where Xbox games are no longer gonna be on Xbox, and like Microsoft is in the cup chair essentially, and Xbox games like, "Are you sure about this?" And Microsoft goes, "Yeah, go do it," as like they're on the lap of like Sony and Nintendo or whatever. Yeah, lots of things to look forward to in this month of June. Especially with one character. Oof. Fucking oof. I wonder if I'll be able to tell. I don't know if you guys know this about me. I can be somewhat oblivious at times. You ever reminded me of my my great fuck up. It was like a meme of like some guy explaining the server rack and like the things he did to set up, and it's like a TikTok, I think. And like some girl's like, "Oh my gosh, I want you so bad," and the guy goes, "Shut the fuck up," and then just continues explaining this server. Man, driving for Uber was a fun time. Towards the end of it, I really came to hate it until I started doing morning shifts. Then it became better. So you can still be okay. So you can still mess with the attack. Oh, I'm taking a lot of damage. Okay, Halo real quick. Oh, nope, I'm done eating. And I got a refund of my food. Nice. You know, I remember watching Uber Danger's video on like playing war and why it sucks. It's not that bad. Like, yeah, you take breaks to like heal, but it's not that long of a wait either. Like, probably over the course of like 11 to 60, it's probably like it'd be like going like you sleeping every day or whatever. It's like you sleep for a third of your life. Then again, Uber Danger is a very special little snowflake. He purposely makes things very hard for himself when he doesn't have to. And it's not like he's doing it for the sake of a challenge. He's just like that. Sounds like Pivot. Difference is though, Pivot's good at games. Uber Danger has the will. Pivot has both the will and the skill. Like I always say, Pivot is one of the most confident men I know. You tell him how to learn something to do. You tell him to learn how to do something, he'll probably learn it very quickly. And then get very good at it. It's just this fucking ego. What ego, Rikku? I don't have that. I don't have one of those. I am the most humble man I know, unironically. I dodge. Never mind, I can't use that skill. It's when they dodge my hit and I can do that bullshit on them. I'm trying to go through as many bandages as I can just to make... How many of the new bandages do I have? Only 25, not bad. Oh. I do want to bring this up. There we go. So I'm enjoying my time in Classic. I like it a lot. I'm pretty sure I'd be fine with retail for a while. Until I got into endgame. Because, like, as you're playing, you know, any game, any MMO, usually the problems don't show themselves until later levels. But I'd have to see how combat goes in World of Warcraft.
That ability isn't ready.
But I don't think I'd like it. I think I would hate retail WoW, like, a lot more than anything I hate in Final Fantasy 14. Oh, also, this is something I've realized for a while. Final Fantasy 14, it's... I wouldn't say it's hard. It just kind of sucks to do content where you're expected to kill a lot of monsters because you have rotations to do. Well, with this one, you can auto-attack or you can spam click one button. And, like, you can kind of lay back and chill. Because... how to put this? Final Fantasy 14 Stormblood, they had an area called Eureka. Whole point of Eureka is to do fates and kill monsters to level up another loving bracket, essentially. And... hello? Hey, Sayla, come here. Don't do it, Sayla. I love you. Come on. Don't jump up there. Come on. Come here. Oh. 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 I got scared. I thought that was a monster coming up behind me. Yeah, games like the WoW Classic, Final Fantasy 11, you didn't have to press buttons too much as you were doing content, like maybe every once in a while. And like in higher level stuff, of course, you're only pressing a lot of buttons. That's just how it is. Even then, Final Fantasy 11, you'd have macros set up to do things. I haven't really gotten to the high end of Final Fantasy 11. But you could automate a lot of things, and as well in WoW, from what I've seen, you're only really spamming maybe a few buttons. If you're playing like a mage, you're only really spamming one button, and like keeping your eye on like maybe the AOE thing and a few of any gun abilities on enemies, anything to crowd control them. I guess I'll have a better opinion on that when I actually. Well, I don't think I'll ever play mage in this game. Or from what I've seen of like raid guides or whatever, you usually as a caster you're only pressing one button, and as a healer, you're only keeping your eye on like one person. But anyways, in Final Fantasy 14, because you have rotations, you're pressing buttons potentially every 2 seconds, and like if you drop the rotation, you're not gonna do as much damage. But from what I've seen, mainly from WoW Classic, is that like you have 3 buttons you're kind of worrying about. Like I think for me, what my class, like I'm gonna have something called Bloodthirst, then Heroic Strike, and I think it's Under Armor. Like those are the 3 main skills I'm gonna be looking at when I do content. Alright. Oh, give me one moment. Do you have one of those 12-button mouse or a special keyboard? I've always wanted an MMO mouse. I've never gotten one though. So all I have is so all I'm doing is just using the keyboard and just doing 1, 2, 3. So like as you see here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have anything mapped especially. And the other luxury of Final Fantasy 14 is I can just play on controller, but even then. I don't know, I just become more conscious of the fact that I'm just hitting like multiple buttons over and over again. And then I'm worried about things like this. My cleave does not reach you. Yeah, I've thought about in certain games getting that kind of a MMO mouse. Also, I don't know. I feel like I'd fat button those extra things on the mouse too much. And then I'd have to like do even, it's a learning curve. I got one of those, but I use it for work at the breeze. I edit photos for those. Okay. Yeah, I would expect that it would be a learning curve, but after enough using it with muscle memory, it's like, all right, I know what button I'm pressing. Kind of like how you're able to type on a keyboard without looking. It's just like after you do it enough, you're able to just stare at the screen and type what you need. I can only somewhat do that, except when I type on the keyboard without looking. I use my index fingers. I don't do the ASDFJKL semicolon. Because you know, just gaming enough my finger, and then because I've always used my index fingers for typing. Give me a second. I'm typing in the guild chat right now. What Camp Picture, what do you mean using the index isn't the standard? What's the other option? Oh, it's what those fancy people do where they have all four of their fingers, you know, on the keyboard instead of being humanoids, you know, real humans, and using their index finger. But they gotta use their other fingers to do the typing. I remember they tried to teach me that style of typing where, yeah, pinky is on A, ring is on S, middle's on D, index is on F, and then your other hand, J is on J, index, middle K, ring L, pinky semicolon. Do you not know this, Maxwell? It's something they try to teach us. It's like cursive. They try to teach us that too, but unlike cursive, I can see the use of oh, so I can pull this picture up. Give me a second. And then let me save this to the appropriate folder and then I'll bring it up. YouTube folder, OBS material, finger placement guide. There, yeah, no, it's actually called the perfect thing already. Okay. Ba-ba. Disco Elysium Riku. Then what is this? Oh, that's loss. I don't want to get rid of loss. Loss is a valuable part. We're keeping that up for right now. It's always just fun remembering what I have here. What are you? Oh, you're an Axel. Oh yeah, that was for Psychotastic. I remember now. I'll just make a new one. That's fine. Image, keyboard, and then get out of that for right now. Make it hidden. I don't want anything to show up accidentally. Ba, ba, ba. OBS materials, and then keyboard placement. There we go. There we go. You know, I just thought of something logs. Hello, HG the Great. Why is it on your screen? Because I remembered I have it in my OBS and I want to bring it up. Feel so uncomfortable. Yeah, my fingers are more used to WASD. Also, just so you know, HG the Great, I am streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. So that is what I'm replying to as well. Yes. So I don't know who came up with it. But like that's quote unquote the optimal way to do it or whatever. And like what they try to teach you is typing without looking or whatever and using all your fingers. But I'm guessing you're the same as me where after just using a keyboard so much, you kind of know where every button is. So you just use your index fingers to type without looking. I remember typing these wrong. Yeah, I remember my school trying to teach that early on because they thought like, I don't know why they thought this is like the way you needed to type. Is this just one of the same delusions that QWERTY alternative did? You know, I'm gonna be honest, I've never seen one. I've never seen a QWERTY alternative, and I'm glad I haven't. Like I also, yeah, no, just never seen one. I've always just, you know, I mean, for office jobs, and typing is way faster than chicken pecking for sure. Probably, yeah. That's the idea, is that you're using 4 fingers instead of just the 2. You're using 8 fingers in total instead of just 2. But also, there's very few jobs where you need to be that fast at typing. And even then, like, those speeds can be reached with finger picking, as you call it. Like in a regular office, you probably have 2 business days to send an email. Lovely overlay the stream, I know. QWERTY was designed during the typewriter days to slow down typers, so they wouldn't jam at the mechanics. Huh. Lost this thing, I do not care. Keyboard can go away though. Interesting, that was their solution by doing QWERTY. There's very few jobs I can see where you need to type that fast for emails. There are modern alternative typing layouts that are so very fast once you learn them. Very unnecessary to be very fast, though. Like you say, yeah, no, it can be handy for like a few things. It's just like at that point, just like a quality of life thing. And you should use loss as a crosshair at some point in the 3. Have it be dead center and have it burned into my monitor so I know where I always want to be in the center. not for emails to say, but actually making documents, contracts offline. Oh yeah, no, those for sure. You definitely want to be able to do very quickly. Lawyers, accounts, stuff like that. Yeah, no, definitely. But like if you're just working like in typical office. Yeah. And it's like you said, large bodies of document, like large bodies of text. Taped on, lost. Yeah, no, there are definitely jobs where you want to be able to type. You want to get as many characters / words on doc or on page as quickly as possible, and ensuring accuracy as well to not go back, because if you keep getting stuff wrong, you're not really saving yourself time. Like there's one job I'm learning about where it's like the post office, and these are for letters that they can't really get the they can't really decipher what the address is on, so they send it to another place to do like a final examination of what the actual address is. And like in that job, like you're expected to get so many letters done per minute, I believe. Mm. Also, the other thing of I've seen a lot of job postings where they want you to be able to type so many words per minute. Back a few years ago. And now looking back, I don't know why they wanted to keep. Because after I've learned about the whole thing of companies just putting out positions to never be filled, like I think they call it an evergreen posting or whatever, where you can have candidates fit perfectly, but they won't hire though for that. And then they'll say things like, yeah, job markets are still upside right now. It's just so weird to me. Like, even like 2016 exactly where players want to be. It's just been so, like, even back in like 2016, 2017, just looking at job postings. Oh, came online. Has left the. Oh no, they just left the guild. Okay. Like, it really does feel weird, some of the requirements they tack on for some positions. And, like, you look at them, it's like, oh, this makes sense. You know, they want you for this job to be able to type. You know, it looks like they're doing correspondence. But when you actually get in, it's like, no, you didn't actually need any of those. Why did HR, whoever hiring part of our company, put that there? Your guess is as good as mine. But now it's not the time for them. It's time for us to get EXP. AXP and gear. Lots of gear. Journal search for gears of warrior. Yep. I will say though, I've gotten very lucky on this account. Not in dungeon drops, mind you, just in interactions mainly. So, fun story. So for anyone who doesn't know World of Warcraft, you only start with one bag of inventory, and it's the backpack, and it has, what, like 12, 14, 16 slots? And then you have to fill up the rest. You get 4 other slots filled for bags. And like the first extra bag you get has like four inventory slots or whatever, 4 or 6. I am rocking these room cloth bags that are 14 slots. And you might be like, huh, Rikku, how'd you get them? I was like level 7, and some guy came up to me and was like, hey, buddy, stop. I stop and go, me? You go, yeah, you. And it's like, open, and it's like, we're gonna trade. And he just trades me these 4 bags. He just gives them to me. And then later on, I see him like talking to other people in Stormwind, and like he's making them do like, guess what number I'm thinking in order to get the bag. But for me, he literally just gave me the 4. He didn't make me do anything. He just told me to stop. 14 slots are until like the 40s. Yeah, I know, and I got them so early. My life has been so much easier because of all the space I've been given.
I don't have a tool.
And then, so I'm only level 33 and I already have 59 gold. Oh, Kit. Get down. Get down, Kit. And I think it's like 100 gold they want you to have by like level 40. Because it's like 20 for the skill, 80 for the mounts. And then, yeah, you want plate gear from what I've learned, but at level 40, there's not much options that are really good. Like, they're probably an upgrade. But you can probably just get dungeon gear from the Scarlet Monster and be fine until like level 45 and 46, as I've been reading out. So my game plan is get to the level where I can do armory comfortably, do library, and then no, it barely starts dropping at 40. Yeah, like people were saying that like there's just like almost no option. So like yeah, you could get plate gear, but it'd be like very generic or like
More rage.
very like pricey or whatever. So, like, I'm going to be wearing my Scarlet Monster gear until, like, better plate options actually start coming up. I really like the look of the Scarlet Monster gear. So being able to have a few levels to have that gear on is going to be so nice. Like, I wish Transmog was already in Classic, just so I can keep the apparel of the Scarlet Monastery gear on.
Need more rage.
I could have executed them, but I just wanted to hamstring them instead. But It's not that deep, lol. Yeah? I mean, I can't really speak. This is my first time playing ever. Like, but I've been doing quests, and then I learned that, like, oh, hey, you actually just want to, like, grind out mobs for EXP or whatever. And I'm going to be honest, because of how many quests I was doing early on, this is a nice change of pace of just, like, going around, like, a circle and just killing monsters. And it's also not like I'm trying to, like, pull multiple of them, because I could easily pull multiple of them, do sweeping strikes, kill a bunch of them, and just keep going. I don't mind just walking around. Like, I don't mind just sitting back, talking and grinding. Like, that's part of the reason, like, RuneScape is really fun to grind on stream. Is because not too many grinds were actually that intensive unless you were doing the higher end content. But even then, that's it. At that point, it's just doing it enough times and then practicing speaking while doing it. And DS internet and no GPU computers 20 exactly. It was just people who wanted to play a fun fantasy game. It's a fun game that the community can be put. Yeah, thankfully I've met no one so far that's been like pushing meta, and that could also be because like I'm not in that, because I only started like 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I'm out of that initial like push to like get to max level or whatever. But I even met someone for Scarlet Graveyard who was like, man, you're a Fury Warrior. I was not a Fury Warrior at the time. I was still Arms. And they're like, hey man, like, we just need a warrior that can, like, you know, take a few hits so that our mages can like burn down the enemies, and then, you know, they're gonna pull aggro off you, that's fine. But can you just like do the initial pull? And I'm just like, yeah, sure. And they're like, man, Fury Warrior. Man, I respect you for leveling as a Fury Warrior. It's so rough doing it, but I fucking love dual wielding as a warrior. And I'm just there, it's like, yeah, our hit chance is shit, but it just feels so good. And he's like, amen, brother, amen. Because they didn't mind, like, I had what, a 19%. Well, again, they made the assumption I was a Fury Warrior. I was before that, though. Like, I was like 2 levels before that. And they're just like, they were just fine with me doing that, because again, they were like, listen, we got mages to do this. We just need you to take the first few hits and everything will be fine. Well, I was a dual sword rogue, and it's funny how you just get used to missing. Yep. I guess with a rogue, it's like DPS. But if you're trying to tank and you keep missing your hits and you can't build a back, it's like, it sucks. It sucks. Because I remember so many groups wanted me as the tank, but a lot of the runs I did as DPS where we had a druid or a paladin tank, the runs just went so much smoother. And even with runs like where other warriors were tanks, like paladins and druids just could do a lot better. And it's like you said, early level, warriors so gear dependent. Also, I'm excited for the Burning Crusade, where druids bear form gets to pop off as tanks. I'm excited for that. Like, I want to play a Fury Protection Warrior. Like, I do want the tank. But I would rather be like an off tank, if anything. Like in this expansion, I'm gonna be expected to be a main tank, which is fine. But I would like to play an off tank next expansion, if they even do that. If not, I'll just go Fury Arms. Yeah, no, paladins and druids were just so easy. Were just so they had an easier time holding AoE hate. Like, it was ridiculous. Yeah, all warriors are tanks, yep. Consecrate is the best ever if your squad lets you take a couple times before rush DPSing. Let's see. Oh, wrong thing. There we go. Up. There we go. Yeah, you need fresh, and that was the other thing, fresh gear. Because guess what? A lot of dungeons early on don't have like mail gear, or like they do have at least some two-handed options. Like they don't have a lot of armor pieces for warrior. I mean, it's fine, you can make things work as is. I mean, paladins and druids sure did. I don't know. It always seemed like runs went smoother. One of those two were tanks early on. And I get it. DPS, more DPS as a tank means more threat generation, which means more DPS can do their job of DPS. But we're not at that level, guys. It's early level. That's not going to happen. Warriors aren't going to be able to give that to you as easily. Unless, like, they have an ult that just feeds them all the gold in the world. Or they're in a guild that, like, just keeps, like, pumping them full of the good stuff. It ain't happening. I lulled the rogue I mentioned earlier to high enough level and was able to funnel gold to a warrior ult and give them give them Auction Hound Green for every 5 or so, and it felt so good tanking that lol. Oh, I bet, yeah. Yeah, if you're just able to pump them full of the good stuff, yeah, no. I can see how that would be such a nice experience. Like, oh yeah, no, I can deal with everything now.
I'm out of range.
But for other people who are just, you know, leveling warrior first, it's just like, oh yeah, this is the grind. It reminds me of that fucking joke of, hey buddy, I heard you like WoW Classic and you're on a PvP server, so I decided to extend your playtime by killing you. Lord knows my playtime is extended. I'm not on a PvP server. The PvP server, when I looked at when I first made character, that was already full. And I didn't really want to bother with queue time, so I just went to the PvE server. There was another PvP server, but that one had a low population. So it's either be in a high PvE population server or be on a low population PvP server. This is the anniversary server, yeah. Because I've always wanted to experience WoW Classic. So I learned only recently that like this was a thing. So I immediately hopped aboard as soon as I saw it. Because I missed the initial rush of 2019. And I always look back and I was like, man, I wish I would have done that. Because never got to experience WoW. Didn't really want to try retail because by the time like I could afford like a decent computer and like doing my own subscription, I'd just been hearing like, oh, WoW isn't that good or whatever. And people saying, "Oh, back in the day used to be so good." 2019 happened. I was like, "Oh, might as well give WoW a shot." Something came up. I don't exactly remember what, but I just did not have the time to play it. So it's one of those things I look back on where it's like I feel like I could have made it work. Retail is good, but it's different. All I've heard is like really a lot of the doom saying, but that's something I'd have to experience my own. I probably wouldn't know until I actually got to endgame and like spent a decent amount of time in it. Because most MMOs, you know, as you're 11, you should have plenty to do. Is there things you're gonna like? I mean, no MMO is gonna have things you like throughout your whole leveling process. There are gonna be points where you hate it with what they offer. Yeah, all I've heard really is the doom saying on that game. But it is another thing I wouldn't mind giving a shot as well. Well, yeah, while retail is endgame, and the rotation's like 5 times faster / more complicated than classic, and the dungeons and raid mechanics are 5 times more interactive. So that's just creep of a game existing for 20 years. They couldn't just keep things the same forever. Yeah, I remember people not liking Cataclysm. Don't really remember the reason why people didn't like it. Then I remember just the graph of like back in the day they used to show where it's like Wrath of the Lich King was like, I think at that time peak subscription, and then afterwards it started tapering off. And I do not remember the reason people gave back in the day for like why WoW was quote unquote falling off. And then also I remember Mr. Pandaria, people were like, why? And like people just kept making like jokes that it's because Kung Fu Panda popped off or whatever. But also, didn't they introduce like monks that expansion for some kind of like martial artist? I do think every MMO should have the option for fist fighting as a class. Yeah, monk class and the Pandaria. Yep, missed the Pandaria. So monk class and pandas. Okay. Solo's orcs dead over there. Oh, okay. 40 more minutes. 40 more minutes and then I go work out. I'm debating on whether I want to yeah, let's head back to town actually. Let's see if we can get another buff up. Oh yeah, okay, flying mounts. I remember I remember like seeing a video recently about someone talking about that where people didn't like that because it like quote unquote killed the overworld contents. I only started playing a year ago. Okay.
Looking for something specific?
What I hear from boomers complaining about, yeah. See, you take something like Final Fantasy 14. Them adding flying to base Realm Reborn was just nice. Because I think the big thing is it doesn't matter. I don't think it really matters if you're able to fly or not. And like, I don't think that really diminishes the overworld content. What diminishes the overworld content is the actual overworld content you put in. Like, I think if they added in flying mounts right now, I don't think much would change because all it does is just make you get from place to place faster. But there's still, like, if you're leveling, there's still places you want to go to level up, you know? It just makes the grind a little easier. Because I could level through the overworld by just, you know, killing the mobs. Or I could be leveling in dungeons where I think it might be slower, but I could get things to sell in the marketplace. Like, I think at that point, it's just, like, what do I prefer to do at this point? Like, if I had a solid group, I could just dungeon spam, get okay experience, and then have something kind of distract me from, like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm leveling because, oh hey, I'm pulling groups, you know? Oh hey, I'm rolling on items. Oh hey, is this boss finally gonna drop the thing I want? Or if I don't have a group, I could just do quests out in the overworld or just hunt the mobs. Because that is one problem with Final Fantasy 14 where you're really just dungeon spamming. It's all just personal choices, yeah. Like, it's when you make one thing the clearly superior choice, because there's trade-offs right now for what I decide to do. Like, quests give me a story to do. I've leveled WoW retail alt both ways, exploring old expansion and dungeon spamming. Both feel fine. Yeah.
Safe travels.
I think the only problem is when one feels superior to the other, where it's not even to the point like you're trying to like rush to do content or whatever. It's just that one of them feels legitimately more like fulfilling in a way, I guess. Because in Final Fantasy 14, like I was gonna say earlier, they're just, you don't beat dungeon spamming in that. Like, there is no, like, doing quests in the overworld is not worth it. Like, it doesn't feel as fulfilling because you don't get as much gear, and like you get more, you just get more of everything from dungeon spamming in Final Fantasy 14. And like the only time you do side quests is when dungeon queues are going on. That's really it. Like, but if both things feel good to do, it's just like then you've hit the perfect sweet spot of like, no, this is just good then. Because I can make the choice of either going to dungeons, get some items, level up. It's a little slower, you know, it's something else to do, or just spam out some mobs, just relax and chill. Because I do feel like dungeons in this require more effort, especially since I'm a warrior. I need to be a little more focused. Oh, man, look smart and pretty and whatnot, but I've heard the combat doesn't feel as good. So combat early on does not. It's really simple. But then when you get closer to the max level, that's when your rotations can really start popping off. And then as well with mechanics going on. Like early on, oh yeah. But yes, early on, like combat is not that fun. It could be something not that engaging. It's that thing of like, you gotta play for a certain amount of hours for it to get good. I could definitely say for WoW Classic, for my time in this early game, it's been slowly building on itself. I'd say for Final Fantasy 14, it takes a bit for it to like really become engaging. Like if you tell someone, oh, you got to like level 50 or 60 or whatever for, I'd argue some jobs are even like 70 or 80 before you start hitting like a really nice rotation of like, okay, because that's the other thing as well, is like I don't know how it is for WoW later on. I know that I have my own rotation where you want to spam Bloodthirst, and then when Bloodthirst is on cooldown, you're spamming Heroic Strike, and if you're Horde, you're doing a hamstring. Ugh. That's also another great thing about WoW, is that the upgrades feel like upgrades, you know? Final Fantasy 14, sometimes it can feel like it's not, which sucks. Yeah, again, I don't know how retail works. All I know is how modern Final Fantasy 14 works, and then how WoW Classic's treating me right now, and what I've read up on for Endgame. Oh, these didn't sell. Well, that sucks. Well, it's the same. This is what I like about the auction. Retail, the impact of years until endgame leveling feels so samey all the way through. Yeah, no, you got options. I don't think I'm gonna be able to sell that. I'm gonna undersell that so hard. Also, if I'm understanding correctly, retail kind of wants you to get to like the current content more quickly. So like, if isn't leveling just like you say, saving, but also faster, probably, at least to get to where the expansion starts, and afterwards it's like, oh, now like now you're starting to like starting to do a bit more. Like it tries to catch you up as best it can. Yeah, endgame is the game. Well, yep, there we go. Yep.
I buy and trade.
You know, if I'm not gonna get a buff, I might as well go to Iron Forge. It's not a big deal once you get the big picture, where nuclears don't see the big picture. Yep.
Go with honor, friend.
Oh, let's pick up the swords. See if I can sell. I'm probably gonna sell them for like 50 silver, I think. Oh, the problem could have been like I did not sell at like the right time. Because I think the time auction was ending is when people would have been getting off work. I'm at 61 gold now. I'm gonna be very set for when I get to level 40, I believe. Only setback might be a few skills that I buy, but even then, I'm not too worried. Is this even worth that? So 19 silver to sell it for 1 gold. I'm assuming that's because... So it's discouraging. Blizzard should work on that. As in, they should, like, help players to, like... Is that endgame is the real game, and that they shouldn't be, like, too preoccupied by, like, what to do during leveling. Just that, hey, level up, and then... Think of this as the tutorial, essentially. I have a lot of potions, which is not bad. But still. Yeah, something like that. Once you're on a few ults, it's not a big deal, but new players see 20 years of content in front of them and don't realize the good stuff is the current stuff, and that most experienced players are leveling ults in a day to get to the current expansion level. Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry for typing your ear off, no worries. I mean, that's what this stream is for. It's like, it's just chatting pretty much. Like, I know I'm saying part, like, oh, it's part 6 or whatever, part 7. But this is just like playing RuneScape, essentially, where you're just talking. Thank you for following. Oh, the Iron Ore still. Nice.
What can I do?
Okay, so I'm going to go turn in this quest because I've had it up for too long. Also, I just remembered that Lost is up, and that's still funny to me, so it's staying up. Yes. HD the Great, thank you for following. I think that would be good. And then also, like, of course, like the experienced players, like they already know like what to do or whatever. But I think it would be handy, like you said, to just tell them, hey, like explicitly tell them in tutorial, and even then, like you can't really do that because some people skip the tutorials for games, which at that point, like, hey, they didn't want the tutorial, so that means they're off going to do their own thing. But those who do stick with the tutorial or whatever, saying, hey, you know, experience the game, but don't be too caught, just level, do what you want, and just know that the focus right now is at the current end game or whatever. And if you want content, that's where you're wanting to go. That's where you're going to want to go. Because in Final Fantasy 14, it's you don't really get that option. You have to go through the story of the game before you can start doing other content, which they do give you the option to skip, but it's for real money, which I really do think they should let you just skip without a cost at this point. Because there are just some people who don't care about the story of MMOs. They're there to play the content. Man, most people it's endgame, but other people can have, like, depending on what the game offers, they could want to do something else. Yeah, I do think Final Fantasy 14 charging for story skip is kind of shitty. But Square Enix is also kind of a shitty company. The team making Final Fantasy 14, I like. The people who sign off on their paychecks, though, they have just made shitty decision after shitty decision. Some people would say that about Blizzard, for the people who are doing WoW things. Man, isn't it great? When company holds back talent. Because all the investors say we need to make some more money. And we know you guys could probably think of something that the players would like, but no. We have an idea that we love ourselves hearing. I hate Square Enix. Final Fantasy 14 is Square Enix's cash cow. But man, are they not willing to put money back into that? Because, I mean, you've made all this money with the limited budget we gave you, so why do you need more money? So what happens when you level doing quests, content explore and quest in order until you hit max level? You literally get a notification in game saying come to new expansion, all the old content that's scaling to you, and you're able to one-shot everything you can't explore. That would be a good one. I think that's also good, just giving them that notification. I understand that. You're right, it is jarring. I feel like they should probably, like, build you up to that. Like, that feels like a band-aid fix. I like that they do that, but that does feel like a band-aid fix. Hey, champ, HR told us that we need to let you know this, so we're just gonna tell you this right now instead of just letting you know, hey, yo, bud. Instead of letting you know at the beginning to slowly build you up to this. No, we're just we're gonna give you your fucking 2 weeks notice a day before you're fired. I like it, but you are right. It's a little jarring to get that. It's like, all right, no, you're done. Get to the new expansion. Excuse me. Again, band-aid fix. Does feel like a band-aid fix. So it is something they can work on. I feel like that was like a last minute addition right there. Like someone brought that up in the meeting, like before it came out, and they're like, "Oh, hey, what are we supposed to do when like new players join on this expansion?" And they're like, "Oh fuck," and they're like, and then someone came up with that. First time I was like, "What the fuck?" Now I remember what retail rally. But the average new player doesn't want to get yoinked out of the matrix like that. Yep, because they're on their own little adventure, and then bam, they're hit with this.
Salutations! Daylight's burning.
Nice.
Right. You have a great day now. Off and away.
A silver bar. Oh, I did have a silver bar once. Oh, wait, no. Silver bars are extremely cheap now. Bring a brilliant gold ring, a silver bar, a moss agate. I did have a moss agate at one point. I'm willing to get rid of 3 agility to get more stamina. Yeah, I think they should cushion the blow at the tutorial by saying, hey, you know, just so you know, main content's at this level. So be prepared for when that happens. But go on adventures, do anything you want. But just remember that the current expansion, insert name here, is where the main content's going to be. You know what also would be nice? A notification / mail, like every, like, let's say 30 levels. Give the player like some gold, maybe some like buff potion, maybe, you know, something nice for their level that's a consumable, and say, hey, hope everything's going good on your adventure, you know, just so you remember, like, when you reach this level, that's when you can access this expansion. If you do as a notification, you can then say, oh, hey, check your mailbox, we sent you some goodies, thanks for making it this far into the game. Now, like, if you want to be really generous, you can do it like every 10 levels, and then if you want to be a little stingy, I guess do it every like 20 or 30 levels.
Be seeing you.
I feel like that'd be a good thing to do. Hope you're enjoying your adventure here in World of Warcraft. Just remember, expansion starts at this level. Here's some goodies. Thanks for playing up to this point regardless. Hope you continue to enjoy your time here in Azeroth. There you go. It could be that simple. Tutorial, notification / mail every 10 levels. Nice goodies in there, you know. Something nice to have at that point. Bam. Because if you just send it as mail, there are places you might not be familiar with it, but if you send it from tutorial, like, that's the thing, is like, how much are you expecting the players to remember that aren't main mechanics in the game? But if you do a notification that then says, hey, check your mail or whatever, we sent you some nice goodies, and then that could also work out. Silver bar. Yeah, because silver bars are ridiculously cheap. And then moss. There. And these are going to be more expensive things. Bio. Yeah, if they didn't want to do too big of an overhaul, I think my suggestion went pretty well. Except all the scam listings trying to get people to accidentally buy now. What scam listings? Are people spammed in their mails with things like that? Oh, the silver bars. Ah, okay. Yeah, some of them are trying to get you with those prices. I actually want to see. One of them I think was like, oh, it's only like 7 gold. It's like 7 silver, whatever. But buy now was like a gold and like 50 silver. Also interesting, and I don't know why this is right now. I'd have to look it up. But silver ore is much more expensive than silver bars. Lol, yeah, so scummy and funny. No, it's great. Because you should be careful what you buy in the auction house. You should always double check how much you're paying. Some people do not, and that's what they're banking on. In fact, I'm sure they banked on it. Yeah, because I saw one that was like 1 gold. I was like, no fucking way. No. See, let me see if I can find that one again. Silver ore. Then current bid. Or no, not silver ore, silver bar. Yeah, right here. Oh, it's only 1 copper. And like, there. See, this is too greedy. No, they're doing 40 gold each. So if they would have went maybe a gold, or it probably would have been better. But like when you have, because this is a little easier to do, a little easier to scam people out. But when you have the big buyout thing right here, like, because right here this is the same. Or it's like, oh, okay, it looks around the same or whatever. See. Like, this one is somewhat less noticeable. Like, I could see someone messing up on that one. Also, that makes sense that the XP for making the bars is worth more than the bar itself. Yeah, because if I go to silver ore... Because I was tempted to do this to level up mining. Because the prices are just ridiculous. Yeah. 16 silver right here. 36 silver here. You know. Yeah, I think they should have done a gold instead. And like, maybe a couple silver, maybe as a bronze to start with. But when you start putting up to double digits gold, I think that's where if you make the sale, you hit like a jackpot right there. All right, Mr. Gnome, give me my ring. I need to check my phone. Alright, let me just exit out of this real quick. I'm gonna be looking down the corner for the next few minutes, it seems. Also, let me just, so it's not, there we go.
Pleased to meet you. Daylight's burning. Be seeing you. You have a great day now.
That's some easy experience and a nice ring. Something to do to vary up the activities I do. Alright, more stamina. I did lose 3 agility, but that's alright. I don't think we're really hitting levels where I have to care too much about agility. Despite giving what? I think dodge chance and critical rate? Yeah. I do know that if I continue into Wrath of the Lich King, I'm gonna become the new class in that and kind of drop my my warrior. I think it's Death Knights. I think Death Knight's the name of the class that comes in that expansion. They look really cool. And then I mean, one in retail for a bit. Okay.
Keep your feet on the ground.
Like in Wrath of the Lich King, from what I think I've heard about it, they have a tank spec, a DPS spec, and then like a minion spec. Like tank is two-hander, DPS is dual wielding. I don't know what the minion one uses, if it even is a minion one. Minion-ish? Pet-ish? Kind of glossed over what that third spec is. I did hear that on original launch of Wrath of the Lich King, they were overpowered. It wasn't retail, at least. Okay. But I don't really care to be an overpowered class. It's more of like, I just want like a good dual wielding class. And also, I think they said that the patch they're using for Wrath of the Lich King is the one where Death Knights are no longer like overpowered busted. Like, they're probably as strong as warriors are at endgame, like right now, but they're not as broken as they were at launch for Wrath of the Lich King, if that makes sense, from what I've heard. Like, they're still, like, again, they're still gonna be absurdly strong, kind of like how warriors right now, but not to the broken levels they were at launch of OG. Yeah, no, everything I've seen about Death Knight just looks and sounds pretty cool. Because I know next expansion, warrior gets balanced out, and they're no longer like the top dog, which makes me happy. Because I know all the people are gonna drop warrior and like play something else. Probably it's like, oh no, they're no longer the best. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it for the love of the game. And then Death Knight comes out, like, nope, I'm done with the love of the game for warrior. I'm all about Death Knight. Yeah, I do hope that patch does make it so that because I don't like it when I like having variety in my parties, you know? I want to see everyone do their cool thing. I don't want it to just be a lineup of the same class, because then it's just like everyone in the same build. Like, that's just boring. Even if it's not like characters I'm controlling in an RPG, it just feels a little boring to be like in that same party where everyone's the same. Everyone's running the same thing. Why? Because, oh, it's the most optimal DPS. Like, what do you mean I get to have a bear? Unfortunately, WoW Classics expansions are solved like that. Where every class starts to become balanced, or where no classes are balanced. Classes aren't balanced at all. Yeah, I've heard there are some like winners. Like I've heard melee kind of gets shafted, but Warlock next expansion like pops off, as well as Druid. And then in Wrath of the Lich King, Paladin becomes like the most powerful thing ever. But also from what I've heard is that there's a reason to bring in every class. Every spec, I don't know. I think arms like I wish Arms Warrior and Fury Warrior were both viable, but they're probably both viable, but like raids had a reason to bring both or whatever. Like they probably have a reason to bring in all the classes, but probably not all the specs though. Like there's probably like one spec that dominates the other one. Unless you're Paladin in like Wrath of the Lich King, who I think all of their specs like become just the best thing ever. Warlock, I know, just becomes really good next expansion, but I don't know if like all of their specs are good. I know Druid, their tank spec becomes like really good. But I don't know about their two other specs. I would assume the healing spec is still good. I don't know about the DPS spec though. That's another thing. Kinda wish. Yeah, I don't know how things evolve over time. Just in this case, current base, classic warriors dominate. Yep. What armor is that? They're a mage and they have a sword? I'm guessing they're still casting spells though. But it's not like a melee mage, I'm assuming. Yeah, I just know that for right now, warriors are overpowered, and other classes will have their time in the spotlight. But I think Fury Protection is still going to be one of the better tanks, besides Druid and Paladin when it finally comes online. Because I do think even next expansion, Paladin tank becomes viable. But like, I also know that some hardcore guilds are not going to want a lot of melees in their teams for raids. Because apparently the raids are like really rough on melees. Which I can't make no comment about because I have not seen how the mechanics work. I would assume it's not actually that bad, but if you're someone who wants to, like, you know, race world first, I'm assuming it's like, oh, hey, it's just easier if we bring one of the DPSs that deals a lot of damage and it's also ranged. So we don't have to worry about healing constantly the melee focus specs or whatever. So I'm assuming that's what it amounts to, is just that the mechanics that are hard to avoid from melee are just damage ones. I don't even think it'd be like... It might be also debuffs that lower your damage, but I think it more has to do with like mitigating damage, not having to worry too much about it. And then because the only ones who should be melee range are the tanks, your healers are going to be on them, so you can get them healed. Nothing really changes at that point. No room for experimenting. Yep, because what has the best DPS and what can give us the best DPS essentially. Because it's like you said, people, man, like, I'm pretty sure people went more in depth into the game, but also I'm going to assume that, like, even early guides, even the people who tried to dig deep, whereas having fun actually being able to put together a 40-man group, well, it can be difficult, yeah. Because at the end of the day, all you really want is just people who can focus and have a good time. And of course, like, sometimes, like, you're having too much fun so you can't focus, but then it's like, at that point, do you want more of a community or do you just want progression? Because, yeah, getting new gear is always fun, but, like, if you make raiding into a job, and I'm gonna tell you, and, like, most people already know this, most people don't want to turn their favorite games into a job. That is one trapping of gachas, where they make events or sometimes even dailies or weeklies into like a second job. Shouldn't be too hard to have both fun and prog. Shouldn't. You're absolutely right. Shouldn't. That's why raids in retail have 3 to 4 difficulty settings. Yep. So that you can play up your preferred difficulty. And if you want to sweat hard, probably pick the hardest option then. And that's where you probably have to pick the meta or just be really good at what you do. Because I wouldn't be surprised, for at least for retail, they try to balance out the different specs and classes to be at least an appropriate level. Because that is one thing I do like for Final Fantasy XIV, is every class can beat the content, even the hardest content. You do have to follow a specific thing of needing at least one melee, one ranged, one melee DPS, one ranged DPS, and then one, well, no, you don't even need to do that, really. It's just for very specific fights where they want you to have every, like, DPS archetype. Yep. And that's the thing that high-end groups will always go after, is just, you know, what gets us the quickest kill, but also safely. Because it'd be rather ballsy of them to go for a DPS option that isn't consistent. Unless they're truly sure they can pull it off, but even then, for early progression, I don't think they tried to do that. If they're in a race, they're going to probably go for the safer option that's consistent instead of the more experimental one, essentially. I do like how this sword looks. Yeah, there'll always be metas in these games. I'm just glad when players are actually allowed to play what they want to, though. But then at that point, they just have to find a guild. Like, that's my problem with Final Fantasy XIV is there's a very specific class I want to play, but everyone wants to play it, so it's like finding a raid group where it's like that spot isn't already taken. I've bitched about this before. There's a guy my buddy knows, and he's just he plays the same class as me. And I remember one day we decided to raid together, and I was like, all right, you know, he got better gear than me, so lol, yeah, but oh yeah, no, and any game essentially where you get to pay your class, it's like, can we double up? And if we can, who gets to play the class who gets to play that class then? But so this guy had better gear than me. And I was like, oh, they'll probably score higher than me on DPS. And I was like, you know what? It is what it is. He has better gear. That's just how the dice rolls. Throughout the whole raid, the multiple attempts we did, me, despite having lower level gear, kept outpacing him because I knew my rotation and I knew when to hold back resources for different phases. And I think this was a fight we were both new to. But I still kept outpacing him, and I'm just standing there as like, this fucker is not taking the Viper spot. I am not letting him take my class. Because the other thing about this guy is he got an ego. He just thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, nothing beats knowing your class, exactly. Like, you can have the best gear, but if you don't know your rotation, fuck off. You're not going to hit the top of the chart. Right now, retail, it's paladins. There are too many paladin DPSs. Oof. Paladins are so cool. I like them. Not gonna play one though. Definitely gonna play Death Knight. But paladins are cool. Yeah, no, I just sat there and just like, nah. If we're raiding with him ever again, he is not taking my spot as the melee DPS and Viper. I am not letting him be like, bro, guy, like, trust. Come on, no, I have the numbers, I have the receipts. You are not doing this. Then the other problem was he decided to play one of the hardest classes in Final Fantasy XIV. And only at level like 34, I think, he proudly proclaimed with his chest out, "I'm the best at Black Mage. I'm the best caster." And I'm just sitting there like, "There's no way you're saying this right now." And it's just like, this guy has to be this guy's memeing, right? He has to be shit posting. There's no way he's saying this with full he was. He fucking was. At Maxwell, or anyone who's listening, for anyone who knows, this is one of Pivot's buddies. And even Pivot tells me, yeah, he has a bit of an ego. Max level in Final Fantasy 14, I think at that time he said that was 90. Now it's at 100. And he said at such a low level, it's like, yeah, I'm just the best. It's like, he's a funny, he's a funny guy. He's just being funny. And Pivot just looks at me and just shakes his head. I just have to sit there. It's like, there's no fucking way this kind of guy exists. Like when Pivot says it, he's just trying to piss me and Corner off to get a reaction out of us. He is baiting us. But then we saw one step ahead, or we saw the consequences of if Pivot didn't have like his self-awareness. It's this fucking guy. He's not an ass though. He's not an ass. He's funny. He's a good guy. But man, does he have an ego. He is a nice guy though. He is a nice guy. I will say that. He's not taking my fucking spot as melee DPS though. I'm gonna say that right now. Yeah, no. He doesn't have that problem where he's an asshole. No, he's a good guy. I mean, Pivot would say otherwise. Pivot would also remark on how he's gonna bang his mother. Which I find untasteful. Because I would never joke about having sex with Pivot's mom. I would just do it. And by it, I mean her. Hey, if you're listening, I want you to suffer. He's not here. That would have been so funny if this is the moment he decided to pop in and that's what he hears. Alright, it is 12:13. I need to go work out. Alright, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Hope you all had a good time, and I hope you have a good day and weekend. I will be back later with Hive Swap, Friend Sim, so I'll just be reading aloud later 2 hours when I get back. Yeah, no. Whether I see you or not, have a good one. Take care. I'll see you guys next time. All right, enjoy the weekend. Have a good one. Bye-bye.